Problem 22-38. We're going to create an operating budget, which is the first part of the master budget. So before we can talk about this problem, let's review the master budget really quickly. So this is a screenshot from our PowerPoint showing the master budget components. So the three main components of the master budget are the operating budget here in green, the capital expenditures budget, and then the financial budget, which is the cash budget, budgeted income statement, budgeted balance sheet, and budgeted statement of cash flows. But in this problem, we're only going to be doing the operating budget. And the operating budget starts with the sales budget. So in the sales budget, we forecast how many sales we're going to make, how many units we will make or sell, and what the sales revenue will be. And once we figure out how many we think we will sell, we need to figure out how many we will produce. And we can tell that this operating budget is for manufacturing because there's direct materials, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead. So once we figure out how many products we need to produce, we can figure out how much direct materials we will need to have on hand and what our direct labor budget will be and our manufacturing overhead budget. Then after we do those three, we can figure out our cost of goods sold budget and then our selling and administrative expense budget. So in this problem, we will be creating the quarterly operating budget, which starts with the sales budget. Now notice it says for the quarter ended March 31st, 2025. So when we need the beginning balances for this quarter's budget, we will use the ending balances of the previous quarter, which is right here. So notice this says December 31st, 2024. So these ending balances we might need for the beginning balances for this quarter ending March 31st. So we're going to start with the sales budget because the sales budget drives everything else. We don't know how many products to produce unless we know how many we think we will sell. So this company is a batting company. They manufacture wood baseball bats. Langley's two primary products are a youth bat, which is also right here, designed for children and young teens, and an adult bat designed for high school and college age players, which is right here. Langley sells the bats to sporting goods stores, and all sales are on account. The youth baseball bat sells for $40. The adult bat sells for $65. Langley's highest sales volume is in the first 3 months of the year, so the first quarter, as retailers prepare for the spring baseball season. Langley's balance sheet for December 31st and other data for the first quarter are right here. So here's the previous quarter, the balance sheet. So when we need that, we can open that up. And here's some other data we will need. So again, we're going to start with a sales budget because that will drive everything else in our budget. So we need to figure out how many bats we think we will sell. So if you see the word budgeted, that means forecasted or projected. So how many bats do we project that we will sell? Well, we think our budgeted sales are 1,200 youth bats. So I'm going to plug in 1,200 here. So that means we think we budget or we project or we forecast that we will sell 1,200 youth bats. Our adult bats, we think there will be 2,600 sold, and that gives us a total of 3,900. Then we need to figure out the sales price per unit. So I can close this window. Here's the sales price. The youth bat sells for $40, so I'm going to plug that in here. Oops, this is 3,800, sorry. And then our adult bats sell for $65. So total sales, to get the total sales for the youth bats, we're going to take 1,200 times $40 per bat. 1,200 times 40 gives us $48,000 of projected youth bat sales. So that's our projected sales revenue. So adult bats, 2,600 times 65. $169,000. So 169,000 plus 48,000 gives us $217,000 of projected sales revenue from bats. So now that we know how many bats we're going to sell, in the next budget, which is a production budget, we need to figure out how many we need to make. And in that video, we will also need to factor in, well, how many bats do we already have in inventory? So that's it for this first video.